Screen share rights. Which so when I say IAC, it is infrastructure as a code. Now, first, let me give you a context why I need infrastructure as a code. Now, earlier, when cloud was not there, okay, suppose I want to think I'm a website like Amazon.com. So in a normal day, how will be the traffic which I'm getting? So let me just come here and say Notepad. So let me say in a normal day, this is my web server. So here I am getting 100 customers per minute. Okay. Now there is a big billion day sale. So I can expect 500 customers. Now, if there is 500 customers, two things can happen. Either this can become very slow or it can crash, because this is made for only 100 customers, but you're trying to give the load of 500 customers. So there are high chances it will slow down or it will crash. At the end of the day, the customer will not get a smooth experience. Now, to give a smooth experience to the customer, what we do is we go ahead and provision more servers. So if I say that I'm going to provision more servers, let me just go here. Draw. Wait a second. So if I say that I'll provision more servers, I am going to, what happened? Eraser format. Pen, it is format only. Okay, let me just open it again. So I will provision more servers. Now, provisioning more servers will need a good amount of effort. You will have to first buy the hardware. Okay. After buying the hardware, you have to provision the hardware. Means you have to install all the softwares and all. And then you have to take care of the security, load balancing, all those aspects. So one problem which I resolved here is I'm not going to buy any hardware. So I have put everything on cloud. But how about this provisioning thing and the software installation part? Security also, to a certain extent, I have taken care. But how about provisioning all the softwares again? So let me say, if every 3 months I have this big billion day sale, so every 3 months I have to install same set of softwares on different hardware always, which is time consuming. So if I can have something as IAC, the infrastructure which I have to provision, I will put it as a code. So this code can run n number of times, and every time it will run, it will provision the hardware, provision the infra for me, or it will provision the application for me. So this ready-made code which can provision the infrastructure, which can provision the application, is known as IAC, or infrastructure as a code. So when you have to create a EC2 instance, what do? You go to the console, you start clicking, you start making choices, and then you create your EC2 instance. But now I will say that creating these EC2 instances, you will not need any console access. You will be given a code. If you run the code, your EC2 instance will be created. You can store that code in your repository, and whenever you want, you run it. Based on your requirement, you can run that code and that code will give you the output. So earlier I said that if you're running something on the EC2 instance, stop it so that if you're not using it, less cost is getting charged. But now I have a code. I can run the code to provision the instance. Then once my work is done, I will delete everything. And tomorrow when I come back, again, I can run the same script. I get everything back and I can delete it at any point of time. So this flexibility is what I get when I start using IAC or infrastructure as a code. Now, when we talk about infrastructure as a code on AWS, there is something called CloudFormation. Now, CloudFormation is something which will work only in AWS region. In outside world, if you go, there is something similar to this, which is Terraform. Terraform, I'll teach later. So Terraform has the ability to go ahead and provision the infrastructure for you. The good thing about Terraform is that it works with all the cloud environment, but CloudFormation will work only with AWS. So in a way, it is good also. In a way, it is bad also. Bad in the sense you cannot run a CloudFormation code outside. Good, because if you learn this, Terraform also is very similar to this. So who can do this or who can use this? A developer who is looking to learn about AWS CloudFormation, he needs to write templates. DevOps engineer who want to provision the infrastructure, he can learn these CloudFormation templates. Solution architect who wants to understand the benefit of CloudFormation can go ahead and use this. So basically, this component can be used by developer, it can be used by DevOps engineers, it can be used by solution architect. So irrespective what field you are aiming at, you can use this component. When I write a CloudFormation script, it is either written in a YAML format or a JSON format. Okay, JSON, many people, they don't find it easy. So YAML is something which they will want to write. The good thing about YAML is that everything is in a key value format. So invoice. Now see, this is a normal JSON file, how it will look like. Some thing you want, invoice, colon, and then you will go and say the value, date, then the date, build to. Now build to is subdivided. So it is given, price, family, this, address. Now address is subdivided. So see how it is written. So there are two major things which you have to see here. One is indentation and the second one is AMI will not work. Even if AMI is there, suppose you have an AMI, still you need to provision that AMI, right? You have to go and click, say, launch from this AMI. Then you have to choose your EC2 instance type. You have to go choose your security group. I am saying that I will give you a mechanism. I'll give you a way in which you can easily go and run everything. Okay. So a code will be there. You just have to run that code and everything will be done for you. See here. So this is how your JSON looks like. Sorry, this is how your YAML looks like. Invoice, whatever value you have. So all the indentation which is at one level. So invoice, date, bill, product. This is at one level. Then at second level, given, family, address. Then these guys all are at one level. Then this is subdivided. So this is main, then subdivided, then again subdivided. So this is how you write a YAML code. YAML code is very simple. Just take care of the indentation first. Second, it is key value format. So something you write, then colon and then space, and then you write like this. If you find difficulty in writing a YAML file, I will always recommend that you can go for any online YAML editor. So there are many online YAML editors, online YAML validators. Whatever code you write, you can come here and do a check. So sometimes the code may not be okay. So it will give you a error that this is the place where error is. But if you start writing YAML scripts, it will be very easy for you. And you should learn YAML because Terraform uses YAML, Kubernetes uses YAML, Ansible uses YAML. So YAML is kind of a standard or a scripting language which you will use to do your work. Back to my management console. Here, I will go with CloudFormation. So CloudFormation says, create and manage resources with templates. So you will have templates and you can use those templates to get your work done. And these templates can either be written in a JSON language or it can be written in a, okay, not this account. Sorry, let me just sign out from this account. Login back. So CloudFormation is covered under free tier. Okay, so you can practice whatever you want. Just come here and say CloudFormation. So you can manage templates. So click on this. Let's wait for this to come. Okay, now when you come here for the first time, okay, let me go to Mumbai. I want to see a plain, simple screen. Okay, let me say I am in Mumbai region. So if you see here, it is completely new. So you will see something like this. AWS CloudFormation, you can model and provision your cloud infrastructure. It provides you common language to describe and provision all the infrastructure resources in your environment in a safe and a repeatable way. This is important that whenever you want, you can repeat this. So this is something which is very important. You get it in a repeatable way. Now, you can come here and you can read these documentations in case you want. Okay, in case you want, you can read the documentation, but there's no benefit, I guess, for you. So you can just start here. So whatever code you write here, okay, you basically say the code is written as a stack. Okay, we say it is a stack. So you can have a stack as a template, or you can take it, you can write your own code. So I'll teach you how to write your own code, or you can take the code from a template. Now let me say I want to start my work. So I'll come here and say I want to create a stack. So if you are a expert, you know how to write template. So you can go ahead and say template is ready, means I have the template, and wherever you have, you take it from there. If you're not an expert, you can start with sample template. There are few sample templates which are available. So if you go to the dropdown, you will be able to see it. Suppose I don't want this also. I'm starting from very scratch. So there is something called designer. And in this designer, you can design whatever you want. So you can come here, okay? And you can say, see here, it says, AWS CloudFormation Designer will help you to graphically design your stack and do a drag and drop. Based on that designer, you can go ahead and get your architectural diagram done, which in turn will also write the JSON or the YAML code for you. So you decide in which language the code has to be written. So you come here to template. Okay. Now, if you start here, you see there are two choices. Either you can write your code in YAML format, or you can write it in JSON format, your call, whichever you want, you can use. I will recommend that you go with YAML, because YAML being a generic language, so you can go with YAML. Okay, so you can see in the parameter section component, you have YAML. Okay, now I want whatever resources are there in AWS, everything is available here. Everything is available here. Let me say I want to create a S3 bucket. So let me go all the way here. Let me look where is S3. So if you're looking for a solution architect, this is good for you. without getting into the complexities, you can start your work. See, I will go to S3. In S3, what you want? So in S3, I want a bucket. So just drag from here and drop it here. See, go to template. Automatically, a code is written for you. Okay. Now, I want to link this S3 bucket to a EC2 instance. Come here. Look for EC2. EC2 is Elastic Cloud Compute. So I'm going for instance. Put it here. Now, these two, they want to talk with each other. Or before going there, this EC2 instance will have a key pair. So I will allocate a key pair to this guy. So something like this. Okay, so this EC2 instance has a key pair. Then you will need a Elastic IP for it. Suppose. Take care of the alignment and all. Then suppose this wants a security group. So I will go and look for the security group. Key pair, NAT, network route. Oh, this is looking for a security group. Okay. Now, this EC2 instance, so let me just push it here somewhere. Okay. Now, I want to link this EC2 and S3. How to do that? So there will be a requirement of IAM. So let me look for IAM. IPM. Okay, let me just close this guy. So let me look for IAM, EBCD, EFG, IAM. So in IAM, what you want? I want a role. Take a role, put it here. So this S3 will link with this role, and this role will link with this guy. Wait. Why is this not linking? Depends on. See here. Now, if you see here, in no time, I have provisioned a very nominal infrastructure. Let me just put this down. Wait a second. So you can do the alignment and all. That's up to you. Looks a very simple infrastructure. In very simple terms, if I say, I have a S3 bucket, which is associated with a role. This role is associated with the EC2 instance. This EC2 instance has a security group, Elastic IP, and this thing. Now, to create this, I took some 5 minutes. Now, in the background, a code was written for me in YAML format. Let me just bring this up. So if you go to components, sorry, template, you will see a code was written for you. If you want, it will convert to JSON format. If you want, it will convert to YAML format. Now, this is the code, Control A, Control C. Now, if I take this code to some editor, Notepad++, let me say. I will say this language is YAML. And if you see here, I'll go one by one. Wait a second. Okay, the names are not very good. Okay, I'll just change the names. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so the names are not very good. Some randomly generated names. So I want to change that S3 bucket name. Okay, just click on this. Okay, now see, this is the EC2 key pair. Okay, so this is highlighted. Okay, I will just change it, give a name of my choice. Okay, I will say EC2 KP. It says designers are out of date. Just refresh this. Okay, some error came here. Wait a second. I will change it from here because here now it is not allowing me to change. So there is something called IAM. So this is dependent on this guy. Okay. There is something called S3 bucket. The first component which you see is S3 bucket. Okay. So I want to give a unique name. So I'll say S3 cloud formation. Cloud formation and today's date 01/07/2022. Type is S3 bucket property, and this is CloudFormation coming from designer. This is the ID. Depends on IAM, this thing. Where is this IAM? So IAM is my role. So I will come here and change this IAM role S3. Okay, this I will change and I'll put it here. Okay, so this S3 is done. Now EC2. So EC2, this is EC2, EC2. I will say EC2 hyphen demo instance. Depends on demo instance. Okay, now this is done. Demo instance done. Depends on this. Where is this? So this is my, what is this guy? This is my key pair. Okay, so let me take this. I will say demo KP. I will change the name here also. Okay, see, step by step, I'm changing everything. Okay, then this guy, this is my, depends on this. Who is this guy? I just missed it. Depends on this. EC2 I3AQ. Just let me check what is that. EC2 I3. So this is GF. So this is basically, see here. So this is basically your instance. Okay. So what name I've given to my instance? So this is the name I've given. Control C. This is what I'm going to change. And anywhere else, demo KP. Okay. Now, this is my security group. Anywhere it is getting used. This is my elastic IP. Okay. So I will say EC2 security group. And then I'll say EC2 elastic IP. So basically the names I've given as per my requirement. Now, if you go through this code, okay, I will try to understand this code. Now, let me start with S3. So I've given a name here to my bucket. It is saying the type is going to be AWS S3 bucket. It says S3 bucket. In the property section, it is saying that it is coming from CloudFormation designer, and this is the ID we have given. This will depend on IAM role S3, which is this guy. And this IAM role S3 is an IAM role, which is again coming from a designer. This is the ID, and it will depend on your EC2 instance demo. When I go to the EC2 instance demo, it says it is an EC2 instance. This is the ID, and this depends on your KP, the key pair. The key pair says that this is a key pair, and this is what it is required, or this is the ID. When you go to create your EC2 IP, it will say again, it depends on your instance. Similarly, when you go and create a security group, again, it will say this depends on this instance. So basically, this is what I have done. So what I'll do is I'll do Control A, Control C, and I will paste the new code which I have generated here. Control A, Control B. Now it says the designer is out of date. Just hit refresh. Only alphanumeric cannot note. Wait a second. Some name is saying specify logic ID that contains only alphanumeric characters no longer than 255. What is that? Hold on for a second. Which name? Specify a resource name logic ID that has only alphanumeric characters and is no longer than 255 characters. So some name I have given not correctly. Let me see which name I have not given correctly. Now, here I will just go try to see which name I have not given correctly. Okay. Metadata CloudFormation depends on this, depends on this. Or let me do one thing. Let me create this again. So I will also, I think, wait, it is not underscore. Hold on. Let me just do one thing. Control A. Okay. Now let me go one by one. So I'm taking a role here. Let me do a drag and drop. This role, let me go ahead and rename this role. So I will say IAM role. Refresh. It is not allowing me to underscore. That is strange. Okay, it is not allowing me to give hyphen or anything. So I'll put it IAM role, okay? Or in that case, I can use this only. So I'll remove all the unders, hyphen and underscores. It is not allowing that. So let me just remove them and try again here. Why to do everything again? So this is there. IAMS3 instance CloudFormation demo KP, Elastic IP, demo instance, Control A, Control C. So the name was wrong. It's not allowing me to put hyphen or underscore. But anyhow, what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've put the code. Now, if you see the code here carefully, it has all the components. See, I have my CloudFormation code. This is my S3 bucket. It depends on the role. I have my role, which is linking my instance and my S3 bucket. The instance is here. This is the ID and it is dependent on the demo KP. Demo KP is the key pair which gets generated. When I go to Elastic IP, it says first you should have your demo instance. Then when I go to security group, it says you should have this. So basically with this piece of code, I'm able to create this infrastructure. So I started with a designer. Okay. And you can see that I can see this entire thing here now. Due to somehow this link got missed. Okay. I need to check why this link got missed. Let me just come back here. So, okay, this is not changed and hence the link got missed. Okay. See here. So this is a very simple infrastructure which I created. And to create this infrastructure, I did not literally go and write the code. I simply went ahead and I designed it on the designer and the code was ready. Okay. Now this code, whatever I got here, I can save it in a GitHub and I can share it with a friend of mine who wants a similar thing. Or I have already done the same thing on dev. Now I want to implement it on prod and let me say UAT environment. Then I can go ahead and put it on this environment, right? So anywhere now I can take this code and I can give it. And the moment this code is put here, simply you have to come put the code here and say deploy. Now what will happen? It will start the deployment. See here, redirecting. And it will, now if you see, it has created a S3 bucket for you. Here it has created a S3 bucket. Here it has kept the code for you. And you can go ahead and implement this code. Give a name. Let me say demo stack. Okay. As of now, I don't want to pass any parameters. Simply go and say next. Some tag, no. Some IAM role if you would like to associate. As of now, if you want to associate, you can associate. If no, then don't associate. What happens if the stack fails? Then you can roll back. Some advanced options where it is asking you for the rollback policy and all. As of now, no. Just come here and say the template is ready and you can start your deployment. And you say that, okay, fine, I'm okay. And you go ahead and deploy. This will not work, but still you can go ahead and deploy because IAM role and all I have not given. So this is how you start an infrastructure with cloud. Okay. So this is, you did not had anything. You went to the compiler or you went to the designer, you have put your code and you started working. No need of default VPC. No, nothing is needed. Nothing is needed. That's what I'm saying. You not needed. Whatever you don't mention, it will be picked by default. In Terraform, drag and drop, do we need to, in Terraform, I don't think there is a console where you can do a drag and drop. So that will not work. So Srinivas, thank you. That thing worked. Fine. So I have the code ready. Now I can go ahead and try to deploy the code. So I don't have an IAM. It will fail. But in case I had an IAM, it will not, it should have not failed. It will say create in progress. And down the line, you will see these resources will get allocated. Anyhow, it has failed here. It says validation failed. The demo KP is required. You don't have a key with the name as demo KP. If you have, then it will proceed. Okay, so this anyhow is not going to work, but I just gave you an example that in case you want, you can create an infrastructure like this with the designer. Now, let me say now other way around. My manager came to me and he told, see, there is a code. I want you to understand that code and tell me what is there in that code. So you can come to my PPT. So there are many YAML files which I have attached here so that you can take and do practice from here. Okay, let me take this. So this is a YAML file. Okay, my manager gave me a YAML file. I don't know exactly what is there in this YAML file, but he gave me something like this. So I'll do Control A, Control C, and I will bring it here for my designer. So this I don't want. So let me just go back to CloudFormation, create a stack. Template is ready, yes. Or you can go to the designer, say create the template in designer. And you can remove this guy, say that language is YAML. You can template, Control A. Designer is out of date. Refresh this guy. Something came. Okay. File web server. What happened? One second. What happened? Okay. This copy paste did not happen. Control V. Refresh here. Hold on. This is not taking this. Wait a second. Ideally, it should work. This is not taking. Can you try edit and paste it? Edit and paste it does not require. Wait, I'll tell you what is happening here. Control C. Come here. Come here. Okay, so basically here there are 2-3 things. One, there is a key, there is a SSH location, and there is a security group, and there is a web server. So ideally, this should work. I'm just wondering why is this not working. Let me close this guy. Leave. Let me come fresh and try doing it. This anyhow I don't need. Delete this. I'm going to create a stack, a new stat, new resource template is here. Create the template in designer. I will say I want YAML language. This is there, but it is automatically getting deleted from here. Template is not valid. At least one resource must be defined. Okay, this is not getting copied actually. Wait a second now. Okay. Okay, I got it. Let me expand everything. Control A, Control C. Ideally, this should work. This is not refreshing due to some reason. Let me just check. Is there some problem in the code? Oh, there is some problem somewhere else. Let me just come here. 1 minute. Come here. Come here. Interface YAML. Let me take this code. See, 63 lines only got copied here. And here, there are 63 lines only. That's okay. Let's refresh this guy. No, this is not getting updated. There's some problem here. It is not getting updated. Anyhow, I will do one thing. I will not consider these. I will come here. Here. And I have something here. EC2 user data, okay. Or EC2. Let me try running this. Control A, Control C. Ideally, this should not happen. But this is not picking up. Give me 1 second now. So basically what happens is, in case pipeline has a code, Git. Let me see here. hello. 15 मिनट बाद आ रहे हैं. ठीक है, बाय. Okay, now what I'm doing is sample YAML file for, I'm looking for CloudFormation. CloudFormation. I'm just trying to show you one thing. Okay, that if I get the code, let me say my developer or something like this. Let me say this one. Let's try this one. Let me say my manager or somebody gave me a piece of code. They said, work with this code. Try to tell me what is there in this code. No, there is some problem, man. There is some problem with this designer. It is not responding actually. Wait, I'll do one more thing. I'll show you one more thing. Wait. Let me come here. There's some problem with this designer. Because of this, it is not taking the code. Ideally, it should take the code. Not here. Not here also. Wait, give me 1 second. Let me search that component. I'll go inside my folder and search. Actually, I'm trying to show you one thing. The one thing is that if I have a code, let me say somebody gave me the code. I just want to run that code. So I will just go ahead and put the code there. Then what will happen? This is what I want to show you. But due to some reason, that thing is not appearing here. AWS Cloud Bundle, not this also. Hello. Hold on for a second. Try to re-log into AWS account, then paste it. You can try to copy one by one. That will not work, man. See, logging out and log off can work because many times you log out and then you log in, no, then it may work. Let me just give me 1 second. Sign out, leave, log in back. Can okay. Now let me come to CloudFormation. Let me go to stack. I want to create a new stack. So I'll say create stack. Here, let me say I'll use the sample template. Okay. So in the sample template, I'll come here and I'll take this lamp stack. I don't know what it is. I'll take lamp stack. So now if I come here and say view in designer, I will be able to see the visualization of that thing. So there is a web server and there is a web instance. So security group and web instance. Now it can be converted to YAML. So you take this Control A, Control C. Now assume that somebody gave you this piece of code. This big piece of code somebody gave you. Okay. But you actually don't know what this code is doing. So you brought it to the designer and you're able to at least see what this code is doing. So basically there is a web server instance and there is a security group. So these two things is what you can see here, right? Now, when you start analyzing the code, you will see a CloudFormation template has 5 major sections. Description, which says what this thing is going to do. This template version you can leave as it is, no worries. You have something called description, which will tell what it will do. Then it will have parameters like what key name would you like to give? What DB name would you like to give? What DB username would you like to give? So these are parameters. When you run your code, you will have to input these values like DB password, DB root password, instance type. Now in instance type, there is something called mapping. So you cannot go and say that I want T5 micro because T5 micro is not possible. By default, it is T2 micro, but you can make a choice. So this is instance type. When I'll run, I'll show you how that maps up to be. Then here, if you see here, constraints are there. So if you give a valid EC2 type, then only it will go and work. When you give the pattern, okay, see SSH location. So SSH is nothing but a port number. So port number should be something like this. Default, it will be 000, but the pattern should be like this. If your pattern is not like this, it will not work. So this is the constraint. This is restriction which I have put. Okay. Now let's close this thing. You don't have to worry because all these things will be generated. This is parameter. Now mapping. Now, if you use T1 micro, this is your architecture type. Similarly, there is another mapping which you will see here. If you use T2 nano, this is the architect type. So these all are default from Amazon. Okay. Similarly, if you use AF South one, this is your instance type. If you use AP Southeast one, this is your instance type. Okay. So depend on what region you choose. Suppose I choose US East one. So either my AMI will be this or my AMI will be this. So this is known as mapping. Based on what choice you make, based on that, the mapping will be done. Then resources. Resources is the most important section which you must write. Here it is saying that it is going to create a web server EC2 instance and it will install these set of commands. See here. these set of stuffs will be installed. It will go and sit here in the var. This is the actual code which get deployed. So there's a big piece of code here. This is a script which is going to get deployed. Let me just go all the way down here. Okay. Finally, the security group is one which will go ahead and allow port number 80 and port number 22. And finally, I have the output section where I will get the output. Now let me run this. So I saw in my graph that this is the stuff which will look like. Now I have to deploy it. So to deploy it, you simply come here and put it like this. It will start getting deployment. The deployment will start. So it is saying the template is ready. So yes, the template is ready. It is here. Next. Now here you will make choices like DB name. So you can give the DB name as my database. Password, you can come here and say pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. DB user. So I'll say admin is my user. So here T2 small, it has started. Key pair. So I'll use, let me say custom KP. SSH location is this by default. Next. Stack name. So I will say CloudFormation's CFMT stack. Next. It says whenever there is a failure, you roll back. In case you need a IAM, you give a IAM permission here. As of now, I don't have. So it will fail. Anyhow, it will fail. But I need a IAM permission, which I will tell you how to create later. Then roll back in case there is a failure. And then you can go ahead and say next, and you can try creating this instance. Create the stack. So it says creation in progress, but because there is no IAM role, it will fail in some time. Can we use multiple stacks in one? Yes, you can use any number of stacks in one environment, and that is called as nested stack. Anyhow, it says creation in progress. So let's see what resources are getting created. So you can see here, one web security group got created. Then this web server is getting created. Now, when this web server is getting created, inside this web server, all the softwares will get installed, whatever we saw the script was doing. So it will take some time. And once the work is done, in the output section, I will see the URL. As of now, no output is there. The parameters which I have passed while running my code is present here. A similar set of parameters is what I passed when I was running my EBS. And the template which you ran, you can see here. The events, what is happening step by step. Stack info means what is going on in the stack will be mentioned here. So basically, there are 5 major parameters or 5 major stuff when you get your work started. Okay, so you can see. Okay, so the creation is in progress. Now, the good thing is that you don't have to write any code. You can see here, this creation is complete. Let me just go all the way here to output. And here I see a URL. If you click on this URL, it will take you to your CloudFormation PHP listing. So this got created by your CloudFormation. If you come back, suppose you don't need this, you can simply come here to your stack and you can say, I want to delete the stack. So anything associated with the stack means anything which the CloudFormation template has created, that will also get deleted. Okay, I'll further talk about this in detail in the coming class, where I will tell you how to use this to implement projects. So there are many projects which you can implement just by clicking on the CloudFormation template, and in the background, it will take care of everything. So any doubts, any questions related to this? Okay, wait, let me unmute everyone. Yeah, please go ahead if you want to unmute yourself. Can we copy this tag to different region? Yes, you can do a copy paste. Can you show real-time projects in the CloudFormation? Yes, I'll show you in the coming class. Fine. See you then, guys. Bye.
Can you share any like this scripts, CloudFormation scripts?
I will share you a repo with you that will contain a lot of scripts.
Okay, so that we can practice.
Okay, fine.